What is up, MSF family? Hope you guys are all doing well today. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 characters that I would, or the top 5 characters that I would like to see come into Marvel Strike Force. There's a lot of characters to choose from, you know, and I think we all individually have our wish list here. But listen, man, I just want to have fun with this video today and talk about, you know, some of the 5 characters that I would like to see. There are going to be some honorable mentions too. There's no way that I can narrow this list down, you know, to 5, but I'm going to pick 5 characters. I'm going to talk about where I think that they could fit, or potentially what I think that they could do in the game here. And listen, leave your list too. Let me know who you guys would like to see in Marvel Strike Force as well. But, you know, let's dive into it right now. All right, guys, listen, this is a character that has been rumored in the game. The first one for me is going to be Gambit. Gambit, if you know me, you know Gambit is one of my favorite characters ever. You know, I'm not going to take it from Tana. I know that's Tana's guy right there, but Gambit is one of my top 5 characters in Marvel, period. Thor, obviously, that's why you see my logo, right? My logo, this Thor. Number 2 is definitely Wolverine. Even though he's not great in Marvel Strike Force, at least he's here, so I'm cool with that, sort of, kind of. You know, third would be Deadpool. Deadpool's in the game. He's gotten better over the, you know, past couple of months, year or so. He's gotten really good. And then Gambit. Gambit falls at number 4, and Miss Marvel is number 5. All time favorite characters in Marvel. 4 of them are in the game. 1 is not. Gambit. I want my guy Gambit to come into the game, man. I just remember the 90s cartoons. I just thought he was so cool, so suave, man. Had that swag to him. You know, always trying to get at role, but just couldn't really land it properly. Listen, man, it's just a fun thing. It's a fun character for me. I like his abilities too, right? The kinetic energy. So I feel like obviously, from like a game standpoint, he would have to be like a blaster, right? So something like that. I saw charging. There's some charging with his abilities too. So maybe, you know, some charging in his kit would be really nice. And then the man gotta have cards. Pick a card, any card. Pick a card, any card, throw the card. Listen, I'm a geek out. If Gambit ever comes into the game, man, I'm geeking out. I'm probably dropping the wallet. I'm not gonna be cheap to play, you know, when that particular month when he comes to the game, because he's just my guy, man. I love Gambit. He's so cool. Teams. I thought about teams that he could fit with. X Factor is one. I saw like in the comics that he had, you know, some sort of affiliation or partnership with X Factor. Obviously, the Dab Bros right now are in the game, so they don't have a team, so he would be a nice little fit, you know, I think, to that team. X-Men, obviously, right? Historically, he's a mutant, he's an X-Men character, so that team could work. But there are so many X-Men characters. There's this new astonishing X-Men team coming to the game. I don't know if we necessarily need another X-Men character, but listen, really good. Marauders is another option, you know, too. I think that's been floated around as potentially him being a part of Marauders team. So there's another option that you have. And then the Apocalypse, he was one of the 4 horsemen, you know, back in the comics too. So, and maybe potentially if you have bringing Apocalypse into the game, maybe you could have him be, you know, one of the horsemen. But listen, you got to bring Gambit to the game, man. He is, for me, like I said, one of my favorite characters ever in Marvel. So gotta have Gambit, baby. All right, well, I just mentioned the 4 horsemen, so the next character on my list is Apocalypse. Listen, man, Apocalypse is, I just remember him from the cartoons. I remember him also from the comic books. He's just a beast. I didn't like him in the movies. They failed me where that one's concerned. They get a big 100%. They get a big one of those from me when it comes to him, you know, and what he did in the movies, man. But seriously, bro, I really do like Apocalypse. I think he's one of the best villains, you know, really in Marvel. There's a lot of other, you know, good villains too, but you know, Apocalypse is one of them. Dr. Doom, another great villain who's in the game now. So I was thinking about Apocalypse. You know, I thought about maybe potentially having him be either a legendary character or having him be a character that you get as a reward for Dark Dimension. That would be pretty cool. You know, abilities wise, I thought about reverse empowerment, Wolverthor. This is actually a Wolverthor idea. So shout out to you, Wolverthor. You actually were the one that gave me this idea here, which was kind of like a reverse empowerment, right? So, Thanos gets empowered from the 4 Black Order characters. What if Apocalypse empowered 4 other characters like the 4 Horsemen? That would be pretty cool, if he was able to do that. Some of the 4 Horsemen characters are already in the game too. There's Storm, there's Psylocke. That's already in the game. I feel like you would have to introduce Archangel as one of the characters. I thought about Caliban too, or Caliban, I should say, who has like the ability to sense, track other mutants, like manipulating fear. So I thought of him being like a controller character that you could probably potentially add, as a 4th Horseman. But in general, man, Apocalypse is just such a big, in my opinion, iconic mutant character that I would love to see come to Marvel Strike Force. Like I said, the reverse empowerment, him empowering other characters. I just thought that would be really dope, man. So I think Apocalypse, it would be a really great addition to Marvel Strike Force. Fun character that I would like to play with. So please, let's go, please. Look a boy up, man. Look a boy up. All right, so the next character on my list is Nova, and not necessarily the Richard Rider version. I couldn't find the Sam Alexander version, the younger version, of Nova. And I thought about him being added to the Young Avengers team. There's still a 5th member that needs to go on that team, man. We need a 5th, member of the Young Avengers here. Obviously, we have CM that kind of fits in, right? A lot of people have CM that fits into that 5th slot. I know some people are using the Dabros now too. A lot of people are using the Dabros as a part of that, that team there. And listen, I feel like they just need a 5th member, and I thought Nova would be a really good addition because he's not a brawler, right? He's not a brawler. He's a cool character that I like. Obviously, like the flight. I think he would be. I think the reason why I wanted him to be added is because he's a blaster. He's a blaster, and he would be different for the team other than having a bunch of brawlers, because you don't need the assist now from brawler characters on that Young Avengers team. As long as they have the Young Avengers tag, Miss Marvel can still assist or will still assist. So I thought, listen, bring in Nova. They need a damage dealer. So I thought Nova would be a really dope, kind of cool character, kind of diversifying the team a little bit, a cosmic character that will be a part of that Young Avengers team. They already have a Mystic character too, Mystic and Cosmic, I think, in America Chavez, but I think Nova will be a really dope addition. Bringing a big damage dealer as a part of that team, I don't know. I personally really like it, really like the idea here. And I just thought Nova would be a really cool addition to add to the Young Avengers team. The young version, the Sam Alexander version of Nova to be added to the Young Avengers team. My 4th option here, I'm not ranking these characters. This is kind of how they come up on the list, right? But my 4th character, on this list here is going to be Odin. And Odin, for me, automatic legendary. You got to have, if you're going to bring Odin into the game, you got to have him as a legendary character. And or Odin, for me, when I thought about Odin, I thought, from a team perspective, you already have Thor, you already have Sif. So if you bring in, Thor, if you have Odin with Thor and Sif, then you can have Heimdall, and then, probably potentially have another character, which I'll mention a little bit later on, as being kind of like a new sort of Asgardian team in the game. I also thought about, what if you just bring in Odin and Thor, right? Or if we had Odin and Thor together and then added the Warriors 3. So like Volstagg, Vandrel, Hogan, like having those characters there. I just like to see some really dope team ups between Odin and Thor, in my opinion. Now, I think Odin would have to be like this major big character that could do some amazing things. I don't know about what the kit could be, but I'm picturing Odin as like this big blaster, damage dealing character that would just devastate people. I would not like for them to be a war defense team. I want them to be more war offense, or just in general, just being beast mode and probably other things like Greek raids, Ultimus race, things like that too. Would be nice to see them also dominate arena. I think it would be really dope, man, to have a team like this, have Odin in the game and then being able to have, like a Warriors 3 Thor team. And I'll talk a little bit more about Odin and another possible team that you can work with when I mention another character on this list Gonna be my honorable mentions, but I'll mention that a little bit later too. Just theory crafting some ideas there. But yes, Odin, bring Odin into the game. Big damage dealing, lightning, throwing everything, not just lightning, but a lot of things that you could use, or bring Odin. You could even team him up with Hela, Loki, Thor, and then another character, like I said, that I'll mention a little bit later on too. But we're gonna stop here. Odin, bring Odin to the game. Another character that I would love to see in Marvel Strike Force. All right, guys, the final character, last character, other than my honorable mentions that I would like to see in the game, guys, would be Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is, for me, I don't understand why Silver Surfer is not already in the game. You have the Fantastic Four team, right? Beast mode of a team. Namor is like the 5th member of that team. Now you have She-Hulk as another fifth member. So you have these alternate characters in Namor and in She-Hulk. And I'm like, well, you could have done that with Silver Surfer. I'm hoping that they still have some plans, for Silver Surfer here, or if they don't have any plans, to have some plans for Silver Surfer. But for me, another really, really fun character. The man flies on a surfboard, bro. He flies on a surfboard, man. I mean, come on. You gotta bring him in. Gotta bring him to the game. Another cosmic character, our energy matter manipulating character too. He's just a cool character. Another, in my opinion, I think probably could be a counter to Doom. I know, like another counter to Doom, or which a character that we don't even, hasn't even really been in the game for that long. I know, Goofy. Sorry, guys. I just listen. He should be in the game. He should be in the game. You got Doom. You got the Fantastic Four team now. I feel like Silver Surfer 100% should be a part of this. Of Marvel Strike Force here. Would be fun to have him. I thought about like how would they tie in. I thought about like, would it be okay to bring in Silver Surfer without bringing in a character like Galactus? I don't know if that's necessarily right. I don't know. I would like maybe you could have Silver Surfer be kind of like a plug and play character, because I know that he does have some sort of dealings with, there's like Adam Warlock, there's Thor, that there's been some partnerships or at least some encounters with things like this. I don't know. Listen, I could be wrong, but Silver Surfer would be dope in the game without question, I think, in my personal opinion. So that's the reason why I have him on this list. Now, for my honorable mentions here, guys, and I'm going to pull them up right now. My first honorable mention here was Professor X. There's 31 mutant characters in the game, and Professor X is not one of them. I don't know why, but bring my man justice for Professor X, guys. We'll love to see some justice for Professor X. I also thought about Spider-Gwen too. I thought about another Young Avenger character that could work, even though she's not primarily a Young Avengers character. I think she was New Avengers, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But she does have some partnerships, with Miles Morales, who was a Young Avenger character, so I think maybe that could work if bringing in Spider-Gwen. Like I said, another big damage dealer, I think, is what that team lacks. I mentioned earlier about Odin coming into the game as a legendary character. What about Frigga? Frigga, Odin, Frigga, Thor, Heimdall, Sif, or Odin, Frigga, Thor, Loki, and Hela as like a new sort of Asgardian team, I thought would be really kind of cool, so the husband, the wife, and the kids, I thought about like a pretty cool thing to do there. I mentioned Adam Warlock too. Obviously, like some synergy with the Guardians of the Galaxy would be kind of dope. And then Rogue, there's like 2 different teams I think Rogue could work with. Obviously the Brotherhood, she was a Brotherhood of Mutants team member at some point, and then also obviously, of course, X-Men. But if you're gonna bring in Gambit, then you also gotta bring in Rogue, in my personal opinion. But listen, guys, I try to go through this list as quickly as I possibly could. Guys, but there's so many more characters that I would like to see in the game. These are my top 5, and these are my honorable mentions here. Curious to know what you guys thought. What characters would you like to see come into Marvel Strike Force? But appreciate you guys watching. Y'all be blessed, and y'all be safe.